views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens up the Bronx and the world to you. How you doing, everybody? I'm the host, Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS and BronxNet's Channel 67 and beyond. We'll let you know more about those channels. Go to makethegrade.org to find out more. We got that up there, too. Hey, coming up on today's show, months after Hurricane Maria hit the island of Puerto Rico, many are still looking for answers. And we'll sit down with someone who said and paid a visit to the island. He's going to talk about that, and we'll learn more about the ongoing relief efforts. And then we'll be joined by a Bronx Born author to get a preview of his urban adventure story. He's in the house, and in the midst of holiday season, it's easy to lose track of eating. I'm patting my stomach right about now. We'll share some tips on keeping you physically fit and healthy and mentally fit also throughout the holiday celebrations. Then we'll hear about a group working to help us love and empower ourselves. And then after that, we'll check out an art exhibit with a goal to transform and express and experiment. Later on, we'll sit down with a dynamic group, a music group, working to electrify their audiences. So stay tuned. All this and more is headed your way because we are now open. Everybody, I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open, the only live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected to us through BronxNet or BronxNet TV, or you can go to social media and all that stuff. We got it all laid out for you. Leading things off, our first guest recently went to Puerto Rico and joins us today for a look at his trip, as well as to discuss the relief efforts being made out there. Things are still going on. We still need to touch things up. We welcome Senior Manager of Wellcare, Alex Diaz, to the show.
Thank you, Bob.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
What does it look like out on the ground right now in Puerto Rico?
Well, it looks devastating. There's still a lot that needs to be done. Wellcare was in collaboration with the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We went from November 8th to the 12th to visit the island. Yeah. We were able to visit 2 towns that were hard hit. We met with the mayors. They give us an update on what's going on and what they need to do as we move forward. But the island, when we were on the chartered bus, as we drove to these towns, you can see the devastation.
What towns were they?
They were actually Loíza.
Loíza
Was one of them. We met with the mayor, and we also visited Fajardo as well.
Oh, yeah. So Loíza's here, Fajardo's right on the corner there.
Right. We also went to Santurce to actually help out some kids at the local YMCA. Yeah. We did a restoration project. We were able to do some cleanup over there. The team bought some paint supplies. We fixed up their playground, so they were very happy when we finished because their area was also hard hit by the hurricane.
What about food, water, and electricity?
So at this time, while I was there, there was very limited in the area as far as electricity. Water supply is going okay. I can just speak to what the mayor from Loíza mentioned to us. She said she's gotten a lot of support from a lot of community-based organizations, religious institutions, the government as well. But there's a lot of private sector that have been out there supporting. So the community's gotten that component, but they also want to get to the point to rebuild at this point as well.
And Alex, you're from Wellcare, and you guys said, hey, let's get together and go out there. What helped you make that decision?
Well, what we stand for. The company I work for, Wellcare, is very committed to making sure that we're a good partner in the communities that we serve. We're nationwide. In New York State, we serve over 300,000 members. We're from Buffalo all the way to New York City. We have 12 locations that our members can go visit, and our we want to make sure that we give back.
I love what you guys are doing in the community. You know,
yeah, we try.
Work with you guys a lot.
Yeah, no, I know, and we do a lot of work with our government partners. For example, the NYPD, we recognize them over the summer. We do a lot of positive things, and one of the reasons we went to Puerto Rico was to receive a community engagement award, actually in the name of Anthony Tony Chirelli, who was our marketing manager for New York State. He passed away in April, right, because battling leukemia. But the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Nick Lugo and his team, Soma and Cindy, they recognize the hard work that Anthony has done in the community, and they wanted to present us with the award based on what we're doing out there as well, trying to support organizations and do the best that we can to be a good corporate supporter.
I remember working with you guys on something, and you were honoring a number of people. You work with the NYPD, and Big Tony, he started this program, but he was in the hospital at the time. And then we got word that Big Tony didn't, you know, he didn't make it. And we all just dropped our heads and, you know, and prayed. You know, it was devastating.
And Tony, just to touch a bit about Tony, he was all about making sure that the community got the support that they need as far as making sure their health outcomes. But it starts from our president, John Burke, all the way to Yael, our director of branding, and some of the other key individuals in the company. They're very committed in making sure that we give back to the communities we serve.
Great. So were you surprised by what you saw in Puerto Rico? I mean, we heard about all the devastation we saw on TV.
So when you see it on TV, right, you get one sort of perspective. When you see it firsthand, you get a different perspective.
Up close.
And I was actually there in April with my family. And when I came back in November, even some of the same places I went to visit, you see the difference. You see the devastation. You see folks staying in their homes because and without roofs, because they want to make sure that their furniture, that the stuff that they have are secured. I did see a lot of support from the government partners, so I have to thank everyone that's involved.
The governor kept going out there. He has his sleeves rolled up. He's doing some great things out there.
We also had some of the local elected officials through Somos attend as well. Assemblyman Michael Crespo was doing fantastic work out there as well, and some of the other key elected officials. So I think with everyone together, we can continue to provide the support that we need, because I know that there's a lot of work that's being done here locally to send relief to Puerto Rico, and we just need to continue to do it.
What do you need people to do? What do you want them to know?
I want them to know that they should get in contact with all the community organizations that are currently supporting the efforts in Puerto Rico. They should, if they can donate, they should donate whatever they can do. The folks in the island need it. Also, I could speak for Wellcare. We're getting a lot of individuals that are coming from the island because they obviously need to relocate, and we're supporting them with health care. We're providing them with access to making sure that they continue their health care by seeing a provider. So these are key critical things that we want to make sure that folks understand, that to support the folks in Puerto Rico, let's continue to support the relief efforts. And as far as the folks coming in, there's a lot of great CBOs in the Bronx. Let's do everything we can to help everybody out.
Yeah, I travel there often. I like to go to the other side, go across 52, go to Salinas, and then go to Boca Raton and all that stuff.
Yeah, my family's from Guayama.
Oh, yeah? You go right through the mountains.
Right,
But to take the trip that you took, you went across that little bridge into Piñones, right? Where you get you get the food and
none of that was, that's how we remember it, right? So hopefully they're going to get to the point that we can
get to fix that back up. Then you go through the coconut tree area there, and then to Laos and Fajardo.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful island. You know, I hope we can do everything we can to restore it.
Well, thank you, Bob Lee, for bringing us in to talk about this. We appreciate all the work that Bronson is doing as well, because they were there recording and documenting everything that was going on.
Beautiful. What can we do to continue to help?
I would say if you want to, at Wellcare, we have our RSOs. You can come to our office and speak to any of our associates, and we can give you information on some of the relief efforts that we're, support that we're providing, but also speak to some of your community-based organizations. There's a lot out there that are doing some fantastic work for Puerto Rico.
Thank you for your service, man. We love you. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Senior Manager of Wellcare, Alex Diaz. We love you. Thank you for your continued work. All right, we got to take a quick break right here, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open next.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
And welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is a Bronx born and raised author who joins us today for a look at his book, a brand new book, Crumbs at Christmere. It's a book described as a humorous urban adventure story. We welcome Laurence Stein to the show.
Good morning.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So you were reciting something a little while ago. What was that?
Well, for a sound check, I did Jabberwocky from Lewis Carroll.
How did that sound on that check?
It sounded like "'Twas brillig in the slithy toves did gyre and gamble in the wave, while mimsy with a borag rose, and the mome wrath outgrabe."
There you go.
That was a sound check.
That was a good sound check there. All right, tell us about your background. Give us a little background.
Well, I am 100% from the Bronx, very proud to be here.
Wait a minute, we got to get a round of applause for that. Give him a big round, yeah?
All
there you
Bronx.
go, at home.
So on the way down, all my education was around here, Pelham Elementary Schools,
Yes.
Bronx High School of Science. On the way here, I was thinking that I was very lucky in elementary school. It was right around the corner from the Bronx Botanical Gardens.
Oh, okay.
Which is definitely in the book. Everything is in the Bronx is in the book.
All right.
So the lucky element was that my teacher was a close friend of our local hero here, who was Dr. Theodore Kazimierov, very, very well-known man, who was intimately connected with both the zoo and the botanical gardens. And he more or less adopted my class. It's hard to believe how many times this group of little kids would march out of the school and down to the botanical gardens.
So very influential to you as a little kid.
And one thing I remember the best is one day a man met him, a very tall man, odd-looking, and he was the chief of a Native American tribe from the Southwest.
And who was that?
And he was the chief of a tribe, I forget which one, but we walked all the way through the gardens, and he was impressed, but he never said a word. And we were going to get a snack at the Snuff Mill restaurant, and there's a beautiful waterfall right next to it. So he stopped, climbed up on a rock, and looked down at the waterfall, and he looked at all of us, and he pointed to the water, and he said, "There's nothing more important than this." And that waterfall is at the very end of the book, which I point out is something you have to go see.
All right. Is it still there?
Oh, no, beautiful waterfall, yeah, Bronx
yeah.
River.
All right. So a quick synopsis of what's in the book.
Well, the book follows the exploits of a young man who comes, the locale is here. Everything in this book is within about 10 blocks of here.
Wow.
And it's set in the year 1959. Most of the action takes place then.
Uh-huh.
So it's really a great challenge to try to get back into the mindset of 59 and describe it.
Yeah.
So this young man comes from a poor background, and he needs to work to make money for his family. He never stops working. He's a very young man, and lucks into a great job, which is out on East Tremont. And it turns out this company is owned by an organized crime family. So he just does what he does. He works very hard. He grows up in the business, and he's very happy to be there.
Yeah.
And then there has to be a great change. So he meets a beautiful woman and falls in love with her.
Uh-oh.
If you're going to have a novel, there's got to be a woman
You got to
involved.
be a beautiful woman that you
Gotta
can
be.
fall in love with.
And this throws him off track. He makes terrible mistakes, and the mistakes threaten his life. So the boss of the organized crime family decides that he'll get 3 challenges, and he has to pull off these 3 deals in order to save his life.
Okay.
So the book mostly follows him through New York City, trying to achieve those 3 deals.
And what are the 3 deals?
Well, they're very complicated deals. For example, there's a problem with the New York state tax, which, being a certified public accountant, I know something about. So you have to handle that. At City Hall, there are complications involved in several contracts. He has to handle that.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, there's a jewel robbery of diamonds worth like over $5 million. And that is the last and the hardest of the challenges.
And they're all taken care of.
Well, you got to read it to find out.
So how did you come up with the name Krums at Christmere?
Well, as you read the book, it'll be explained to you. Krums was right
not
around.
giving up
yeah,
much. I like that.
Was right around the corner from
Pull
here.
us in. Pull us in.
It was an ice cream parlor right over here on the Grand Concourse in Fordham Road.
Yeah.
That's Krums. And the main action of the book happens around Christmas. So some people are going to refer to it as Christmere. So that's the title of the book.
All right.
It all revolves around trying to get something done by then to get there. So that's how the title comes about.
Yeah. And what made you want to put this book
Well,
together?
the truth is, I became an author for the very, very best reason you can become an author. My niece bet me I couldn't write a novel.
Oh, okay.
Now, I remember it as a $1,000 bet, but I was paid off with a $5 bill.
Oh, okay.
So I have a photograph of that too.
Well, this will make you the rest.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so here we are, and it's out. And what's next?
Well, I am working on another story which is even more interesting because it's set in the Bronx at this moment. And the problem for me is that's a challenge because I got to go out and meet everybody over again.
Who gave you the challenge this time?
So I've been
wasn't
working.
your niece?
No, this one is just once you start, you can't stop.
There you
it's,
go.
It's like potato chips. Once you got one, you got to keep going. So in the one I'm writing now, there's a man gets out of prison after a very long sentence, and he was in prison for stealing a very valuable necklace. So he's an amazing character, very old but very full of life. So he wants to put together a team because he thinks he can get it back.
Yeah.
So also the music scene in New York is very into this. So I mean, this is a great deal of research to be done.
There you go.
Yeah.
How did all this shape your life and shape your thoughts in putting the pen to the paper for these books?
Well, I mean, the Bronx, I've always found the Bronx to be a unique place, much different from our other boroughs. Like Manhattan is chaos. Who wants to go there? You know, and Brooklyn, they always spend so much time trying to appear super cool. That's tiring.
Yeah.
Queens, no matter how many times you go there, you just can't figure out where you are. You know, and Staten Island, Staten Island is like there's a great novel by the author James Hilton. The title is Lost Horizons. It's about a mythical kingdom in the Himalayan mountains. It's called Shangri-La. So Staten Island is kind of like my idea of Shangri-La.
Yeah.
It may be there, but I've never been there. And I don't have any plans of going at the moment. But the Bronx is different. First of all, we're the only borough attached to the mainland.
Yeah, it's part of the mainland, yeah.
So also the Bronx.
Everything else is surrounded by water.
Yeah, the Bronx has always had these discrete neighborhoods who always had their own character and they were within walking distance of each other.
Yes.
So as a young man, I always did have jobs as delivery boy and such. So I covered the Bronx from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And I was always been fascinated by it. So when I got the challenge to write this, I had no idea of what to write, and I just sat down. Unlike most writers who have everything sketched out and organized, I just began writing to see where it went.
Yeah.
So it naturally gravitated to the Bronx, and then one person after another that I've met through my life just began to form and move the story along.
Lawrence, where can people go to get your book?
Well, it is on Amazon now. The ebook can be downloaded for a mere 99 cents, which you must admit is the bargain of the century.
That's great.
So you can have it on Amazon.
Beautiful. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Laurence J. Stein. Laurie.
Thank you.
Author, Krums at Christmere.
Yeah.
Yes. Krum's at Christmere. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
And when you do the next book, stop by again.
This will be my first
Very
stop.
exciting. All right. All right, we have to take a quick break right here, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more next.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
And welcome back. Our next guest, we have tips on helping seniors this holiday season. We welcome Yael Reich, and she's the diabetes educator of the Visiting Nurse Services of New York, and Alicia Schwartz, care coordinator, Visiting Nurse Services of New York. And well, they have the Choice Health Plans, right? They're part of the Choice Health Plans. You've been here before,
Yes,
you're no
I
stranger
have.
to the show,
No.
and we've been talking about the Visiting Nurse Service. Why don't you give us a little background on the Visiting Nurse Services of New York? I mean, I know a little bit about it because it's in the family now.
Well, it's actually they're going to celebrate the 125th year anniversary it's a service where we provide home care services to the individuals in the home. And we have different departments. There's hospice, there's home care, there's the Choice Health Plan, which is what I work for. There's maternity, MNP. So we have everything.
And today we're talking about diabetes. What are some of the ways caregivers can help homebound loved ones with diabetes and other chronic health conditions stay on track throughout the holiday season?
Well,
Because
the
people are eating all kinds of things. this
That's
holiday
right.
season.
And the holiday season is a really great opportunity for family to, when they visit their loved one, to really look at the house and look at the patient and help them go through these times and understand what are the issues that the patient deal with. A lot of time relatives come from far away and they didn't see their parents for 3 or 4 months or 6 months, and they notice the difference. In terms of diabetes and chronic disease, people often don't take the medication as often as they need to.
And not eating the way they're supposed to
And they're not
under those conditions.
Right. Well, we at the Visiting Nurse Service of New York, we're very, very careful not to be the food police. We don't want to come into the patient's home and tell them what not to eat. We want to
you
tell
don't go in and look into the refrigerator
we
and see what they
do.
do. You do.
We do.
Yeah.
But we do that because we do it as part of our assessment
Yeah.
as a visiting nurse to see what the patient has and how we can encourage them to eat the right things.
Yeah.
And during the holidays, it's very difficult because we go to all of these parties and all of these events, and we eat much more than we usually do.
Yeah. Are there some way, what do you tell them about eating under the condition, this degenerative disease, diabetes? How do they eat? What do they What do you tell
I'm going to
them?
let her go with that because I want to go through another focus with the family visit.
You let me know.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do we tell them to eat? One of the things we have here is a healthy food guide that we rely on the U.S. Department of Agriculture. But what we tell them is to concentrate on fresh fruits and vegetables. We concentrate on really being accountable to what you're eating. So if you're not just snacking all the time, you're not drinking soda all the time, but we don't like to use the word don't. We like to be positive and talk about what to do rather than what not to do.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we tell people is to increase their physical activity if they can during this time.
And that helps out with type 2 diabetes because the body can still produce some insulin.
That's right.
But type 1, you're insulin deficient and it doesn't work anymore. So
you did
have
your
to need a
homework.
shot.
Very nice.
Yeah.
For most people with type 1 diabetes, it's an autoimmune disease. They get it when they're very young.
Yes.
Luckily today they have insulin pens and insulin pumps and different way to deliver insulin.
So you can shoot this right through the stomach, right?
You can,
right through the material and everything?
Yes, you can actually, yes, this is an insulin pen that we teach our patient how to use. We encourage people to monitor the diabetes using a glucose meter. All insurances pay for a glucose meter. And a patient during the holiday, when they eat more, they should monitor more so they know where they are, how much they should eat according to their blood glucose and also how much insulin to inject.
And they're lucky to have you guys to help monitor the whole situation, the visiting nurse services of New York. Give them a big round of applause, everybody.
Thank you.
Maybe Alicia can talk about...
One of the things that I want to talk about is about family when they come to see. Just like Yael said, they come in 6 months, 3 months, 4 months that they haven't seen their family member.
Yes.
And this is the time for you to do the check. And when I mean check is check the home. Open up that refrigerator. Make sure there's food there. Make sure that the food is not spoiling there. Open up the cabinets as well. Make sure there's food. You have people that are very, that they don't have a lot of means, and they may have cat food, but there's no cat. This is what they're eating. They may be eating. So these are the things that you have to do.
A lot of stories of people eating cat food.
Look at their home. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's clutter-free, that there are walkways they can walk. Look at their equipment. Do they have equipment that are working well? Are they sturdy? Look at the bathroom. Do they have a bath mat? Do they have rails in the bathrooms with grab bars that they can hold on to? In addition, check if there's rugs in the homes that they don't trip, that they don't fall. So those are the things that we have to pay attention. Are they, you know, because you may call your family member and they're talking to you and they feel like they're okay, but when you're in the home, you might see they're more forgetful, and in the evenings, they're even more forgetful. Maybe there's some signs of dementia. These are the things you have to look at. Look at their medications. How long have they been there? When was the last time they took their medication? Look at those bottles. Did they get them from the pharmacy in 2015 or 6 months ago? That may mean they're not taking them. This is the time that you do those checks.
Not taking more than it's supposed to.
Yes, you know. Because if it's a 30-day supply, that should be finished in 30 days. If it's 3 months ago, that means they're not taking them. So this is your time to look at that person and see if there's something going on that you may need to take them to the doctor.
Why is the holiday time a better time to assess all of this?
It's not that it's a better time, but these people live alone. And these are the times mostly families come. They come on Thanksgiving, they come on Christmas. So these are the times that you have that opportunity. You should always do it, but this is the most time that people see their family members.
All right. How do you know that you need additional steps to provide care to our seniors?
Yeah, well, one of the things that you can do is when you see your mother after 3 months, you come from California and your mother is in the Bronx and you go into her apartment, you do what Alicia is saying in terms of really looking at the environment, but you also look at the person itself. You ask them to take their socks off and look at their toenails. Have they gone to the podiatrist in the last 3 months? And you look at their hair. Did they go to their hairdresser lately or they didn't? During the holidays, a very good opportunity when you're in the patient home to actually do the visits with your mother or with your father and encourage them to go to the doctor. If they need more help, if you see the dementia, like is said if they're not taking medication, then you can ask the doctor to refer them to a visiting nurse service.
Where can we go for more information?
Well, you can call the Choice Health Plan. One of the visiting nurse service Choice Health Plan is 888-401-6582. That's to contact for long-term services. Or
if you want a visiting nurse to come to your home on a weekly basis or more often if needed, you can call 866-632-2557 and vnsny.org.
Thank you guys so much. Give them a big round of applause. We thank you for all the love that you give to our seniors.
Thank you.
Right, sit tight for 1 second because I have to talk to you, but give them another big hand. Yael, Reich, RN, Certified Diabetes Educator, Visiting Nurse Services in New York, and Alicia Schwartz, who's no stranger to the show, RN Care Coordinator, VNSNY Choice Health Plans. All right, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back, I promise. Next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm David Lesh, legal correspondent to the morning show Open. If you have a legal question that you'd like me to answer, please send me an email at davidlesh@bronxnet.org, and I will address it on our Ask Your Lawyer segment.
Oh, welcome back. I'm hanging out with Latasha Jones. Our guest is the president of Motivated Women's Movement. The Motivated Women's Movement. They're out there and it's big. And they join us today to take a look at her organization with a goal to empower. We welcome Dr. Latasha Jones to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. You look great.
Thank you.
All right. So tell us about you.
So I am a teacher in the Bronx. I work in the South Bronx. I teach middle school. I've been teaching for 14 years.
Oh, what school is that?
P186X
All
in
right,
the South Bronx.
186X. Oh, yes. I know the school. Go ahead.
Yes. Since I've been in the city, this is my 6th year now, working for New York City. We've done a lot of great work with the students. And about 3 years ago, I started the Motivated Women's Movement, basically to bring women together and to do more work in the community with women as well as children, because I already work with children. And also, it starts with us as women, you know?
But why did you want to bring that together? You said, hey, you know, we need to do something with women, and let's call it Motivated Women. How did you come up with that name also?
I came up with the name because I wanted something to stand out. Because when you think of a movement changes things. It's a shift. So I wanted to have something that had meaning and power to it. So when people see my logo is a woman's face, but it's made up, it's a tree, but it's made up of different branches because you have different types of women.
Yeah.
And I did that because everything starts with women. We're nurturers. So when you think of a woman, women have children. So if a woman is not right, their child cannot be right. So a lot of things revolve in this world around the woman. So we just have to make sure, as women, we make sure each other are right.
Yeah,
and okay.
And the mission is to explore and discover their unique passion, purpose, and power.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes, it is. Because a lot of times, as women, there's a lot of things we want to do, and we will not do it or second guess ourselves or just not fulfill our dreams or goals. So what I try to do is, what I do is I create an environment where women can come and be transparent. And we have different guest speakers, and sometimes I have different people come in to talk about finances. So we're, helping women with different aspects of their life, not just, having different seminars, but having groups where women can sit down and talk about different topics. We can laugh, we can cry, but nobody's coming to a space where they're being judged.
Yeah. Do you talk about politics? Because there's a lot going on.
Yes,
and
it is a lot going on.
Election time, women, you're going to see them come out bigger than,
Yes, it is
be
a lot.
larger than life.
Yes, it is a lot going on. We haven't really talked about politics. What we've been really focusing on this year, my topic, every year I do a womanpreneur event. So this year I'm having a womanpreneur event.
Entrepreneur, womenpreneur, I gotcha.
And I do that to help promote women businesses. So it's a lot of businesses that are out here and people don't know anything about it. So what I do is each year I have a theme. This year is called Love Yourself First. And I'm going to have different speakers come and speak, but we also have vendors that come out to help promote their business, but also to raise awareness about these businesses, and also to help raise more awareness about, what we need to do, what love is, and how we can love each other and embrace each other opposed to hurting one another.
That's the thing. I talk about it on radio. We talk about it on TV all the time. Love is number one. You can't begin to love somebody else until you can first begin to love yourself. And that's important. You have something coming up. Tell us about it.
So my womanpreneur event is going to be at Eastwood Manor, and the topic is Love Yourself First. I have 2 guest speakers coming, which is very good. And I also, one is actually Akela Radcliffe. It's a girl that I went to high school with. And
she's out there speaking all over the place now.
Yes, she's out there speaking all over the place. And she's from Yonkers. And then also I have my one of my close friends, she's a pastor up in Peekskill, Reverend Kelly Wofford.
Oh, okay.
So that will be great. And then it's myself.
There you go. What's unique about what you're doing?
What's unique about what I'm doing is I bring it from a different aspect, because not only do I hold womenpreneur events, but I also do roundtables where a lot of my workshops that I do are free. So everything is not always about money, but it's about raising awareness and helping one another, but from different angles. So as I said, sometimes we talk about finances, sometimes we talk about relationships. Sometimes we may talk about, beauty tips, makeup. Sometimes we talk about going out to soup kitchens and providing a service. Just things we can do to help uplift ourselves, but also uplift our community as well.
And you do all that by first loving yourself.
Yes.
Take care of look out for number one, so you can look out for everybody else.
You have to, because if you're not right, how can anything else be right in your life?
Where can we go for more information on what you're doing?
For more information on what I'm doing, it's very simple. You can Google me. A lot of people have done it. A lot of information comes up. But I can be found on Instagram, MWM_2015, also Twitter, and on Facebook as Motivated Women's Movement.
Dr. Jones, everybody, give her a big round of applause. Latasha Jones, President, Motivated Women's Movement. Thank you so much for stopping by, and come back again, okay?
Of course.
We have to take a quick break, but still ahead, I'll look at an upcoming photo exhibit. More coming your way. Stay tuned.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
And welcome back. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee from BLS. You know, taking place now through December the 10th, we have the El Barrio Art Space. It's nice. It's going to be at the El Barrio Art Space. You know what it is? Well, we'll let you know more. It's the Portraits of Personal Fiction exhibit. And joining us with a preview, we have photographer Carlos David and artist Gia Gutierrez. We welcome you guys to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Portraits of Personal Fiction, what's it all about?
Well, it started as a collection of images. I wanted to see, we live in Art Space, which is a community of artists. It's a building, affordable rent from Minneapolis. They have buildings all over America.
Yes.
And the one here in New York is between Art Space and Operation Fight Back. And we have 89 units. And every time it's a very friendly community. I see my neighbors, we say hi, we speak for a while, which is kind of rare in New York sometimes. And I decided that I wanted to see what is what I cannot see when I'm with my neighbors, what is inside them that we don't express among each other. So I started imagining, what if I do like
imagining?
Exactly. It came from there.
Did you capture a lot of that imagination?
Yeah, because I ask everyone, why don't you give me what is your alter ego? What is the character that you have in your mind that you cannot dress up like every day? And people just get into it, and so we have someone dressed as Rembrandt, and we did this beautiful Rembrandt portrait that now in the exhibit is life-size, so it's a humongous image. And other people will dress up as Wonder Woman, other people will dress up as a painting. So everybody started getting very deep into this experience of
And this is in El Barrio. What's the address to that?
El Barrio Art Space is 215 East 99th Street.
I'm going to write it down. 215 215th Street East 99th Street. Oh, it's 99th Street.
Yes, between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. And it's open from 2 to 6. And on Friday, we're having the closing event before the official closing, where all the artists, some artists that participated, and the curator, Miguel Rivera, and the art director, Elliot Ortiz, are going to be there to talk about the process. Yeah. We have 140 images. We did 81 characters. So it became like a huge thing. It started, small with some of the neighbors. Then I got more people people from other places, other artists. And now the exhibit is, I got sponsorship for the print. Printing is very expensive. Yes. So I got sponsorship from Adorama Pics, and they printed these life-size images. So when you see a photograph this big, it's shocking. And so
you have a photographer and an artist.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and you guys have come together. Explain your part of it.
Sure. So we're neighbors. So like Carlos mentioned, we live in El Barrio's art space. So it's affordable housing for artists and their families. Sure. So as neighbors, we got along, but as artists, we all start collaborating.
You created a harmony.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that?
So then I was one of the first subjects, and it was interesting because, as an artist, I work behind the scenes. So I do visual art, but I also work as doing makeup and hair. So being in front of the camera, it was very interesting because, it's something that an ordinary person is not used to, getting into hair and makeup and costume. So I felt the project was very positive and very interesting in a way that it gave people that don't have that experience the opportunity to become this other person.
Yeah. And when did you guys start this?
We started a year ago in November, and it was sort of an on and off thing until the last months of this year. Because there was no budget for it. It was all convincing people to collaborate, makeup artists, hairstylists.
Yeah, and this year you started December 1st.
Yeah,
and it was a big opening, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about that opening.
Well, we since the project, there's so many people, everybody started, inviting their own friends in social media, and also.
They said, we got to see this.
Yeah, yeah, and everybody wanted to see their image, and also that helped to make it a bigger outcome. So we had like 250, 300 people. It was in 2 levels, the exhibit, and there was wine and some nibblings. And now the idea is to get grants and collaborations to keep on doing the project. Because the beautiful thing is kind of what was saying Gia. Normally we see these pictures of famous people of money, and what I wanted, to give everyone the opportunity to have the experience of a real photo shoot with makeup artists, hairstylists, a real studio. Yeah, so it's kind of
yeah, it was a very interesting sense of, because when you see these people every day doing their laundry or picking up their kids, and then you see them like looking like royal subjects, and it's just like a whole different dynamic. So I felt like that was like a huge part of like portraying community in another light.
Ordinary people doing what they do.
Yeah. So in the images, these ordinary people is now like a fantasy story.
Yes,
so
yes.
One woman that is like a deer in this lavish dress, and we have other woman full surrounded by books. We have a clown. Everyone in a different environment. So all of a sudden, we have a story. Of ourselves in the building being someone else.
There you go. All right, where can we see this now?
215 East 99th Street. This is El Barrio Art Space.
El Barrio Art Space.
Gallery.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, it's Art Space PS109.
And this is going through to December 10th, and that's going to be from 6 to 9 every night, right?
Yeah, 6 to 9, and December 8th is the conversation with the artist, where we're going to have again a cocktail and
you're going to go out big.
Yeah.
And then the show is going to be traveling in the coming year.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Big plans, huh?
Big plans.
Yes.
Is there a website we can go to?
carlosdavid.org.
carlosdavid.org.
.org.
Okay.
Yes.
Give him a big hand, everybody. Carlos David, photographer. Gia Gutierrez, artist, project coordinator. We thank you guys so much, all right?
Thank you.
Portraits of Personal Fiction. The address again is?
215 East 99th Street.
In El Barrio. All right. We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. I promise we'll be right back with more Open next.
I'm the host of Wednesday's Open right here on BronxNet Television, Channel 67, and also on Verizon Files, Channel 33. Want to invite you every Wednesday. You get an opportunity to see what's going on in the world of news, current events, debates, public information. That's what happens here on Open every Wednesday. So we invite you to join us right here on BronxNet Television.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, on December the 9th, the Altino brothers are going to be in the house. We'll take their music to the next stage, to the next level. They're going to be at the Riverside Church. And joining us with a preview, they're here in the studio. We have Nerva and our Robinson Altino. Give the Altino brothers a big round of applause. They're sitting right here. Yes. Altino brothers in house. So you guys both play the piano.
We do.
Yes, we do.
And you're going to be in concert at Riverside Church.
At Riverside.
Excited.
And it's going to be big.
It's going to be
you
big.
guys travel all over the place all the time.
Yes, we do.
Tell us some of the places where you guys have played.
We played in.
We have a piano over there, by the way. Should we wheel it out now?
Maybe we should.
You guys are on different pianos or one piano together?
We do anything. Yeah,
okay.
we make anything work. Yeah.
We do duets. But we played Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center. We traveled all over the country. Played in Europe. Played in China.
Yeah.
So all over, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Riverside Church is going to be big. What are some of the things that you guys play?
We'll play for this concert. We're doing a traditional holiday classics, but I've rearranged them in a very unique way that people hadn't heard before. So we have a huge choir that's going to be singing along with some soloists. My brother and I have a rendition of Jingle Bells that we both do on one piano.
What?
And also, he's quite a composer too.
Oh, so, you put it together.
Yeah,
put it together.
So
Right.
I think you have some composition from scratch.
Yeah. I already I composed some original materials as well for this. Yeah.
And you guys are well received everywhere you go.
We've been fortunate, man. Can't complain about that. We're blessed.
That's a beautiful thing. And you're hanging out with Charles, so I know.
You're on the right track. You make sure that's right.
Describe your style.
Or do you want to describe our style?
Well, it is very unique because we are technically classical pianists, but we also grew up in the church. And when you grew up in the church, you are not
gospel
just,
classic.
Oh, yeah.
Look, they're showing you guys right now. Look, you can take a peek. Working together on one piano.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when you're in the church, you're getting a music education that blends the style between gospel and classical.
Yeah.
And when you go to school, we also broaden our musical taste. Jazz, we're lovers of jazz and blues, anything that is fitting, yes.
Now that's deep. Okay, so classical, gospel, jazz, and blues.
Well, I'm also an R&B guy.
An R&B, there you go.
I'm an R&B guy, all right?
All right.
80s and 90s pop and R&B is where it's at for me.
All right, so we have to hear that.
All right.
I
can't say I play it, but I love it.
80s R&B's are blues.
Well, there's a trace of it coming out of the blues.
That's right. That's right.
The R&B. There's a whole history of the whole thing. So where have you guys performed again? You said Carnegie Hall,
Lincoln Center.
And in China?
In China, I did a month-long tour in China last year. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, thank you.
And they love American music out
there.
China.
They do. You know, some of the places I went, it was interesting. They'd never seen black people.
Yeah, in China?
In China. You know, I mean, the main cities, I was in Beijing, I was in Shanghai, but there's another city called Chongqing. A lot of places I played, they had never seen black people in real life, so let alone encounter one who performed for them. But, you know, I was fortunate, man.
Chongqing,
China,
right.
yeah. Huge city.
It's a big city.
Big city. But we never hear about it.
Seems everything is big in China, right?
I know.
Chongqing. Chongqing. All right. But now they know there's black people.
Now they know this.
It's not just television. It actually plays, that's right.
So tell us about your upcoming concert. What shall we expect?
Oh, man, for this Riverside concert, it's a huge production. We have a large choir, I mean, a top-notch band. I've got some of the best musicians around New York joining us for this concert. So we're going to present a lot of the holiday favorites, like I said, my own original arrangements, rendition of them, as well as a couple of my own composition, world premiere as well. So.
And of course, it's open to the public.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Don't forget the children's choir.
We have a children's choir.
The children's choir.
Children's choir? Where they from?
They're from Linden SDA Church, in Queens.
Who's the pastor there?
Pastor Warner Richards.
Oh, Pastor Warner Richards, how are you? Yeah, you got to give the pastor a big shout out.
Definitely,
The congregation over there.
Definitely.
Yeah. The children are good. Great children's
They
choir.
have a heck of a director.
Yeah.
Miss Elite Monroe's her name. So she got them into shape. They rehearsed with us the other night. They're more ready than we are.
They're ready to go, huh?
They're ready to go.
You guys are always ready. You played in Chongqing.
I know.
You're not going to use that all the Have you ever been to Chongqing?
I had never heard of it until I was invited there.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it. But I remember the name. I hope I can remember later on when I want to use it. So you're going to be playing a lot. What happens after this? Is it it's a one-day thing?
It's a one-day event. It's a one-day event. you know, but we're working on some other international projects. But right now, this is, you know, our holiday, you know, Christmas concert, basically one-day event. So asking the public to come out, because I don't know when we're going to have a large production like that again in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
How did you guys start playing? What age?
Well, I was 8 and he was 10. Well, and as I said before, my father, he's an amateur pianist. We used to wake up to him practicing piano.
Oh, okay.
Mozart, Beethoven, scales.
Ooh.
So we
In
became part
America?
of us. In America,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we first came to America,
Where'd you come from?
Originally Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Oh, okay, oh yeah. C'est passé. So you woke up to it.
Oh yes.
And you grew up with it.
Yes, grew up with it.
Every morning. But we had a passion for it. My father's, you know, like I said, is an amateur musician, but
Yeah.
that love for music
Oh,
was
yeah.
passed on from him. You know, he was poor. My father was homeless, man. He grew up, his own father died when he was 12, so he was homeless. So he had to learn a trade. He wanted to learn music, but he couldn't. But anyway, when he came to this country, well, he left us in Haiti. We didn't have the opportunity to learn because we were poor. But when we came here, he said he wanted his kids to learn music. Yeah. He didn't want us to do it professionally, though, at first. He wanted one of us to be a pastor.
He knows.
Yeah, and one of us to be a doctor, but none of us wanted to go that route. You know? So music is what we love, man.
But you took a little bit of church and put it in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. A musician can heal and a musician can preach with
Yes.
the music. So he can do both.
It's a ministry.
That's right. It's a ministry.
It's a
That's
ministry.
right.
It is a ministry.
Yeah, that covers every ground.
Yeah, that's right.
So Dad's still alive?
He's still alive.
Just turned 80.
So he's just, beautiful.
just
Happy birthday to Dad.
In fact, he's singing with us.
He is?
He's in the choir. He's in the choir.
Good,
One of our
good. So he's
bassists.
looking at his beautiful children and says, all right, my children are doing it and I'm doing it with them.
That's right, that's right.
Where can we go for more information on this?
They could contact the Riverside website, or they could contact our website, www.thealtinobrothers.com. So they could purchase tickets from our site itself.
There you go. The Altino brothers, everybody. Give them a big round of applause. We got to come down here and check you guys
Yes,
out.
definitely.
And let us know when you're going back to Ching Chong.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Reverend Robinson, stick around for a little while. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank you, our guests, for tuning in and checking it all out. And you, our viewer, if you came, tuned in and checked it out, thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't thank you enough. And if you missed any part of today's show, well, you can tune into the recablecast of Open at 5 and 10 p.m. or watch anytime on the web at bronxnet.org, or you can catch an all-new episode with our host, Darren Jaime, on Wednesday. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day, and always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice, and let your choice control the chooser. And remember this: whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. I'll see you on the radio, 107.5 WBLS of the Dr. Bob Lee. Peace. Love you all.